Our next speaker, Mr. Hassan Talabi, I greet you as well. Thanks to the organizer for having given me this opportunity. I'll speak about Dublin Law that covers the situation of many Iranian refugees. As you know, the 1979 revolution ended in an ideological establishment of an ideological regime that has created very difficult conditions in the country. As of the beginning, the numbers of executions and the repression and imprisonment soared. So many of our compatriots were obliged to leave their country. During the past years, one of the main destinations of these asylum seekers was Turkey. Turkey has special relationships with the Iranian government, particularly in relation with the Kurdish groups and the PKK. And there is a security agreement between the two countries about the extradition of political opponents. So, Iranian asylum seekers have very difficult conditions in Turkey, and even the UNHCR office in Turkey doesn't have a positive outlook on Iranian asylum seekers. And there were recently a serious protest against the legal council that the UNHCR office in Turkey has nominated for Iranian asylum seekers. So Iranian asylum seekers don't feel safe in Turkey, and they try to pass over to Europe illegally. So normally they enter into Greece or Bulgaria, and afterwards to Italy. So that's where Dublin Law becomes relevant. European Union countries and Iceland and Norway decided that to they decided to trace the asylum seekers who enter in those countries legally or illegally. So normally their fingerprints are registered. So wherever these asylum seekers are caught, they will be deported to Greece or to Bulgaria or to Italy. For the moment, they don't deport anyone to Greece momentarily. In Italy, asylum seekers are abandoned. They are in the streets. They are homeless. They don't even have food. It's not a question of a few days or a few months. Some asylum seekers have been living in buses that don't work anymore, or in parkings. They spent 2 or 3 years living like this. Let's take a look at the consequences of Dublin Law and this policy. Asylum seekers in Europe more or less 50% of them enter the European Union from Greece or Italy. All asylum seekers from Iceland to Switzerland and France, they are normally deported to Italy or Greece. As someone who has lived in Greece myself, and I have witnessed how asylum seekers live in Greece, I'll give you a few examples. The Greek government doesn't help these asylum seekers in any way. They have no assistance for survival, even they are not even fed. And especially recently, with coming into power of the Golden Star Party, who is a fascist, that is a fascist party, they come and even they beat up refugees who go to charity organizations for getting food. More than 20 Afghan asylum seekers or Black African asylum seekers have been killed in these clashes with fascist groups. Unfortunately, the modern world closes its eyes on these tragedies. And the Greek police they take the boats of asylum seekers, and they even drone the boats. There are reports on this on a website on the internet. All of this, all of what I'm saying is documented. It's really tragic how these asylum seekers try to survive. They have no work permit. They cannot provide for their housing or for their food. The only way they have for survival is to integrate drug trafficking bands. In Greece, drug traffickers and dealers are considered criminals and they are arrested. Normally, if you get into a drug trafficking network, it's because you are yourself a drug addict. Normally, all of these persons who integrate in these networks, they are themselves drug addicts. And the substances they used are hard drugs like heroin. And the addiction is very difficult to get rid of. I have witnessed how hundreds of Iranian and Afghan young men and women have had this problem in Greece. Those asylum seekers who manage to go further and go to other countries, they are deported and sent back to Greece. There are many reports of these asylum seekers are getting killed. They are used as cheap labor as well. They are exploited. Their labor is exploited. And this is also a consequence of Dublin law. In all European countries I have visited, asylum seekers, they don't have food, they don't have a way to survive, they have to work in the black market, and this is an opportunity for exploiters, European employers who want to use cheap labor, so they pay a whole day, a full working day, only 1 hour of work. So they pay 10 to 20 euros instead of 100 euros. And the governments don't care. Shamelessly so. European governments should be accountable on this. I don't have a tribune here. I can't speak to address all those responsible here. But I hope that I will have the opportunity to speak about all this, how they are gradually killed, these people. I want to dissociate the European people from their governments, but where cheap labor of asylum seekers is available, they admit them. And these people are educated people, and in Iran billions of dollars have been spent on the education of these people. And these educated people are admitted in Australia or in North America, but they don't admit asylum seekers. And for example, Australians, they send them to New Guinea and they don't let them in. Although these states that claim they have humanitarian outlooks, either they should change their refugee law and policy. Thanks to Mr. Hassan Talebi